the
No, there is no
Bible.
power over Jesus because the Father's power is the Son's power and the Spirit's power.
So the debate is, because in our pre-discussion, I've sort of looked around to try and understand the definition of the Trinity, and I keep coming across the terminology co-equal, and that's the part that I have the problem with. You see,
Why?
I have because I don't believe the Bible presents that. It always seems to be either in the Old Testament,
What?
New Testament. There's a hierarchy in terms of the relationship between the Father and Son. It never
Yeah,
flips back between authorities, you see.
confused, Dave, you've confused two categories here. The category you're confusing is what do we mean by equal? Because you can be equal to someone in one sense, but then subject to someone in another sense. Even the term hierarchy, you confuse the category of nature because you can be equal to your father in nature, but then positionally you're subject to your father. So what do you mean they're not equal? You didn't define your terms. You're using terms, and I'm trying to help you.
No, I appreciate that. So what I mean by not co-equal is whereby there's a power and authority over Jesus, which I see throughout the
No, there is no
Bible.
power over Jesus because the Father's power is the Son's power and the Spirit's power. Now, coming to what you said, no, the Father does not have power over the Son. Having authority over someone doesn't mean you have power over someone because you're using terms synonymously as opposed to defining terms in their context. For example, your father can have authority over you, but you may be smarter than him, more powerful than him.
The Father is, in which respect is the Father above Jesus? Would we agree on?
Even when you say above, if you mean in terms
Sorry,
that
yeah, you
the
know,
Father have authority over the Son, because your
yeah,
father can be above you. But what do you mean above? Doesn't mean he's better than you, smarter than you, more powerful than you. That may be true when you're a young toddler that he's more powerful than you, but there's a time in which you are stronger than your father. So by above, if you mean that the Father has authority over the Son, there is no Trinitarian who denies that. The analogy is given by Paul himself, 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. It says, the head of every man is Christ, and the head of woman is man. Let's just stop there for a minute, because then it says the head of Christ is God. The man is the head of the woman. So does that make the woman inferior in essence and nature?